Continuing my conversation with Bob Dole, used to be the congressman for the 10th District, and now Brad Schneider is, and now he wants back. Ads that Schneider and the Democrats run against you, your chance to respond. One of the things, the most recent ad, you want to raise the retirement age for Social Security. True or false?
Listen, I think we need a bipartisan solution to make sure Social Security is around for future generations. If we do nothing, if we go the way my opponent wants to go and stick our head in the sand like an ostrich, it's going to go bankrupt. And frankly, that's unacceptable for me. We need
so
to
you're saying raising the age may be a piece of what has to happen?
But it's going to have to be a bipartisan solution. And they have to raise the cap, and they have to do a number of things. But what I'm unwilling to do is to simply say that we're not going to address it and deal with it. We need to actually solve it so that people can count on receiving Social Security and Medicare and others.
They say that you say it's okay for an employer to fire an employee just for being gay.
It's absolutely 100% incorrect. That's false, and that's part of the worst part about politics, and I understand how my opponent's just trying to use desperate attempts.
Do you support ENDA?
I do support ENDA. This Senate version, I do support ENDA, and so that's why this is just absolutely ridiculous. We've been outspoken about it, and that's why I think that this is just a desperate attempt. Absolutely 100%.
You want to restrict a woman's right to choose. You want to defund Planned Parenthood. Now, in fairness, I know that when you were in Congress, you got up, you fought against defunding Planned Parenthood. You're absolutely pro-choice. You got your sister, Christy Dole Bennett, doing a commercial ad for you. But, so I'll give you all that. But when it came time to voting
for... That's pretty good. That's a pretty good...
I'm trying to be fair.
Okay.
When it came time to voting for a funding bill to keep the federal government open, it came along with defunding Planned Parenthood attachments to it. You voted to keep the government open. My question, therefore, is you just have to weigh your odds and go, well, then that's the way it has to go. More important to keep the government open than to fund Planned Parenthood.
No, I think what's interesting there is that we wanted to keep the government open. That had to be a vehicle to go over to the United States Senate. The Senate obviously was not going to allow that piece to go forward. But what is important there is we voted to keep the government open, to make sure Social Security checks were cut, to make sure veterans were able to receive their benefits, to make sure all of those types of things that we, including making sure that we had clinics that people could go to, remained open.
But what do you say the attack line is you wanted to defund Planned Parenthood?
And it's outrageous to say so. As the only Republican to speak out on the floor against defunding Planned Parenthood, we actually got a note from the head of Planned Parenthood thanking us for our support and leadership. So it's just absolutely false. And again, this is part of the despicable, ads and really trying to take things out of context because he knows that it's not true.
Okay. Is it true sometimes you just vote for a bill with a bigger, sometimes you have to suck it up on something else that's in it? Is that kind of what that's about?
Part of it in terms of trying to make sure that we're keeping the government open. We want to make sure that the government does stay open.
Okay.
On Brad Schneider's watch, it certainly didn't.
Okay. Israel. Important to both of you. Lots of Jewish people in the 10th District. They are either Democrats or left of center. I know you appeal them. I know you're pro-Israel. Don't need your Israel stance. It's pro-Israel. But my question is, you're running an ad against Schneider, which accuses him of having an investment which invested in a company in Iran, as though that makes him anti-Israel. Schneider on the show said it was about full disclosure of every stock that every mutual fund has stock in. It was his wife's stock. They sold it when they found out. Other people invest in it. Is that a fair attack on his stance on Israel? You don't really think he's anti-Israel?
No, I think that is to be a member in the 10th District, you've got to be a pro-Israel. I think we certainly have differences there, and he's certainly pro-J Street, and that would be kind of how we deal with Iran. His first bill that he was going to introduce would have had the effect of delaying sanctions on Iran, which is absolutely the wrong approach. He actually withdrew that bill. With regard to the ad that you're talking about, I think it's important to know that's not my ad. That's not the ad that I ran, and yet the ads that you're talking about, Brad Schneider's the one that stands up there, so I'm Brad Schneider, and I approve this message. Frankly, I think we need to give people a reason to come vote for us, and that's something that Brad Schneider's not doing.
Okay. Obviously, you can't move forward without talking about jobs, the economy. I want to find a little bit about what you were doing in these couple of years when things were off. We're going to do that when we come back with Republican Bob Dole, who wants to be the 10th District Congressman after these words. Stay with us.